Breaking news in the Bronx. This is Bronx Fan Central.
If you follow the Yankees every single day, these three stories deserve your attention. First, Aaron Boone is already shaking up the lineup, and Goldschmidt is starting at first base instead of Ben Rice. Controversial decision or the right move against a lefty. Second, the name no one in the Bronx can stop talking about is back, Paul Skenes, and this time there's a source behind it. And third, Dominguez and Jones have been sent down to AAA, but the way the Yankees handled both situations says a lot about what this team is thinking long-term. Stay until the end, because that last story is more important than it looks. News 1. Goldschmidt versus Ben Rice. Boone's controversial decision. The Yankees are in San Francisco to face the Giants, and Aaron Boone has already changed the lineup for the second game of the season. Paul Goldschmidt starts at first base and leads off. Ben Rice, who played on opening day, is out. Along with Goldschmidt, Ahmed Rosario steps in at third base in place of Ryan McMahon, and Randall Grichuk replaces Trent Grisham in the outfield. 3 changes in just the second game. That already says a lot about how Boone wants to build this team in 2026. The reason is straightforward. The Giants are starting Robbie Ray, and Robbie Ray is left-handed. Goldschmidt against lefties is a different kind of matchup. Last season, his OPS against left-handed pitchers was 0.981, almost 1.000. That's elite. Ben Rice, on the other hand, had a 0.752 OPS against lefties, a solid number, but well below what Goldschmidt produces in this specific situation. Rosario and Grichuk are in for the same reason. Boone is using a rotation system from the very first weekend, and he's made that very clear. The Yankees won 7-0 on opening day, then had a rough game, and now head into the third game already testing different combinations. Boone isn't waiting to see what works. He's adjusting quickly. This is a sign the manager wants to establish early who plays against lefties and who plays against righties, without letting that process drag into May. Goldschmidt arrived on a new contract with expectations of being an important piece in this lineup. Batting leadoff against a quality left-handed starter like Robbie Ray is a clear statement of how the team values him. This kind of rotation isn't new for the Yankees. The team has used similar systems in past years with platoon players across different positions, always aiming to maximize matchup advantages over a long season. What's different here is the speed. We're in Game 2 of the season, and Boone is already rotating 3 positions at once. That's either very well planned or a direct reaction to what he saw in the first game. Probably both. Fans, let me ask you something. Are you comfortable with this kind of rotation right out of the gate? Because some fans prefer to see a fixed lineup early on. Let the team build rhythm together before moving pieces around. Others would rather see the manager rely on data from day one. Which one are you? Yankees fans, your like really helps the channel grow. News T-Bourse and the Yankees. The rumor that won't go away. Paul Skenes had a debut to forget. The Pittsburgh Pirates lost to the New York Mets. Skenes left after just 37 pitches without recording even one full inning, and 5 runs were scored against him, including defensive errors and a 14-meter infield hit that simply should not have happened. It was disappointing. And right after that performance, John Heyman from the New York Post reported something that set the internet on fire. The New York Yankees tried to acquire Skenes at last season's trade deadline. What stands out isn't just that the Yankees tried, it's how the Pirates responded. According to Heyman, Pittsburgh was so uninterested that they didn't even want to hear New York's offer. Not even listen. That's a strong statement from a team clearly building around its star. But Heyman went further, writing that the Yankees will probably try again down the line, and even hinted there may be reasons to believe Skenes wants to be in New York. That's big. Whether it's truth or speculation, a line like that from a source like Heyman doesn't come out by accident. Pittsburgh entered 2026 with real expectations. Skenes is at the center of all of it. One bad debut doesn't change everything overnight, but it does create pressure at a time when the team is trying to prove it can compete. If the Pirates stumble early, the conversation about Skenes' future in Pittsburgh will get louder. And wherever that conversation goes, the Bronx won't be far behind. The Yankees have a long history of going after ace pitchers when they see an opportunity. That's nothing new. The Bronx has always been a destination for elite arms. What makes Skenes different is the combination of age, talent, and timing. He's at the very beginning of his career, with years of team control, ahead through arbitration. A trade for him wouldn't just be expensive, it would easily be the biggest Yankees deal in years. Would you make this trade? Think carefully before answering. Because to get Skenes, the Yankees would have to give up elite prospects, probably more than one. Pittsburgh won't deal him easily if they even consider it. Would you empty the farm system for a 22-year-old pitcher who already looks special but just had a terrible debut? Let me know in the comments. From the Yankees' perspective, going after Skenes makes sense. The team is built to compete now. Aaron Judge is still in his prime, and adding a pitcher of that caliber could take the rotation from strong to dominant. From the Pirates' side, it makes no sense to move him right now. He's the foundation of their future. Trading him in his second season would signal they're not ready to compete, and that comes with a huge cost in fan trust and clubhouse culture. Unless Pittsburgh completely collapses, this deal feels unlikely in the short term. The most intriguing part of Heyman's report is the suggestion that Skenes might want to be in New York. He even added true or not, but he still said it. That implies some kind of rumor is circulating behind the scenes about the player's preferences. It could be nothing, or maybe someone close to Skenes let something slip. In baseball, information travels in unpredictable ways. The fact that this surfaced right after a rough debut doesn't feel like a coincidence. If this story gains traction during the season, it becomes a distraction. Skenes will get asked about it. The Pirates will have to respond, and the Yankees will be questioned every time the topic comes up. For Pittsburgh's clubhouse, it's the worst kind of rumor, one with no clear end, showing up in every press conference. Look, I get the appeal. Skenes in the Bronx is a powerful image. A dominant 22-year-old arm in that rotation would be a nightmare for any lineup in baseball. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. Pittsburgh won't give him up easily, and if the Yankees pay the true price, it will cost prospects they've spent years developing. I'd rather see the Yankees strengthen what they already have than go all in on a deal that could drain the future. Skenes to the Yankees is a conversation that could last for years. It might never happen. It might happen in 3 seasons if Pittsburgh enters a rebuild. Or it could happen sooner than anyone expects if things change quickly. What Heyman did was light the spark early in the season, and now it won't go out. The question is simple. Do you think the Yankees will ever land Skenes, or will he spend his entire career in Pittsburgh? News 3. Dominguez and Jones in AAA. What the Yankees are building. Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones are not at Yankee Stadium. They're in Scranton, playing for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders after losing the battle for roster spots on opening day. On Friday, both make their AAA debut. Dominguez leads off in left field. Jones bats second and plays center field, first and second in the lineup. Putting Dominguez and Jones in the 1 and 2 spots is not a coincidence. You don't place 2 players there without a clear reason. The New York Yankees want them to get the maximum number of at-bats possible. Hitting at the top of the order means more plate appearances, more game situations, more development per game. This is intentional. The organization wants data on both of them as quickly as possible. Missing out on an opening day roster spot is always tough. For young players with major league level talent, it's even harder to accept. But the Yankees have a deep roster right now, and the path to the big league team will require both players to show consistency, not just flashes of talent. AAA will be their lab in 2026, and depending on how the major league roster performs, it might not take long for one of them to get the call. Dominguez has been on the Yankees' radar for years. He was nicknamed the Martian in the minors because of everything he could do on the field. Injuries slowed his development, but the talent never disappeared. Jones is different, 6'7", physically imposing, and the Yankees continue to trust him in center field despite his size. That says a lot about how the organization views his athleticism. I know some fans are frustrated with this decision. You can see it everywhere. People who believe Dominguez and Jones deserved a roster spot from day one. And honestly, that frustration is understandable. These are 2 players with real impact potential. But let me ask you, would you rather see them sitting on the bench in New York or building rhythm and confidence in AAA with everyday at-bats? Because development happens on the field, not on the bench. The Yankees' decision makes sense when you look at the full picture. The major league roster is crowded across the board. Forcing young players into that environment can disrupt key stages of their development. In AAA, they'll face quality pitching, real game situations, and make necessary adjustments without the full pressure of New York. That's valuable. The risk is holding them back too long. If they dominate in Scranton, pressure will naturally build for a call-up. Then, it becomes a matter of how the big league roster is performing. Internally, the Yankees' confidence in Jones as a center fielder is a major signal. It's not common to put a 6'7" player in that position. It requires rare athleticism. The organization clearly believes he has it. For Dominguez, the focus will be consistency. The talent is there. The lingering question is whether he can sustain performance over a full season without injuries or slumps disrupting his rhythm. The immediate impact is in Scranton. With Dominguez and Jones at the top of the lineup, the Rail Riders suddenly have a very intriguing offensive combination. And because it's the Yankees pipeline, these games will draw attention, even on the road. For the Major League roster, the message is indirect but clear. There are two talented players waiting for an opportunity. No one can afford to relax. To me, this is the most important story of the three today. Not because it's the most urgent, it's not, but because it reveals how the Yankees are building their future. Dominguez and Jones represent what comes after the current core, and how the organization manages their development now will determine whether that future is strong or fragile. I'd rather see them playing every day in AAA than sitting on the bench in New York with no room to grow. But I'll be honest, if they dominate in Scranton, the call-up conversation will be impossible to ignore. Dominguez and Jones are in Scranton for now, but it doesn't feel like they'll be there for long as they handle their business. Keep an eye on their performance over the next few weeks, because the Yankees' first major decision in 2026 might not be a trade or an injury. It might simply be this: when do you bring these two back up? If you're a Bronx Fan Central fan, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Every week there's analysis, behind-the-scenes insight, and real fan conversation about the Yankees. See you in the next video.